Happy Friday. Of course, this is Johnny Rooster. I'm your host, and this is Morning Mouth, where we reach out to people in the 417 Springfield, Missouri listening area, especially for those entrepreneurs out there. And we want to also talk about nonprofits and performing artists as well. But today, it's another small business. I guess you're a growing business.
Yeah.
This is my friend Dr. Drei, as we call him, but he's really Farmer Drei. Everybody talks about Dr. Drei. It's kind of a big thing from the old days. But
yeah.
You know, Farmer Drei is the new thing.
Oh, yeah.
And definitely a new revolution out
That's
there.
Right.
Brighton, Missouri, it's not the biggest town.
It's not, but hey.
It's like people in Springfield think about, where is that again? It's up north somewhere.
Yeah.
Right? Highway 13.
So we're right between Springfield and Bolivar. So right dab in the middle between Springfield and Bolivar, right there.
People know where Bolivar is.
Yeah.
They can find that one.
If you're driving on Highway 13, you'll miss it. I mean, if you're not careful.
Yeah, just slow down.
Oh, yeah.
And you'll see it. Now,
That's
where
right.
would you find Gardener's Orchard? Because if you can pop that banner up, just Gardener's, it's already up. Never mind. I'm looking at the wrong screen. It says Farmer Drei, Gardener's Orchard.
Yeah.
And where would they find it if they're driving on Highway 13?
So we're right at the county line between Polk and Greene County. So if you're driving on 13 and you enter into Polk County, our road is right at the county line. So you take the county line road, half mile up the road, and there we are. You can't miss us. We got a big old banner off of 13. Unless you're on your phone texting and driving.
Is it back to the east of the highway?
So yeah, it's on the west side of the highway.
West side.
West
okay.
side of the highway. Yep. Towards.
How close are you to Fantastic Caverns?
So we are probably 5 or 10 minutes away.
Okay.
We actually work right along Fantastic Caverns. So with their whole sign deal off Highway 13, we actually get some free stuff from them as well, just because we share the same sign on our property and whatnot. In California, where they have 3 in Romania, and then we move here. So we come from a Pentecost out of 10. So there's a lot of us. We're proud of it. We're proud of it.
Anybody out there that's 8 out of 10 knows exactly. I know a guy that's there's 8 kids, but they're all girls except him.
Yeah.
It's just brutal. He's number 5 out of 8, but there are all these girls. Did you have a good mix of boys and girls?
Yeah, so I got 5 brothers and 4 sisters.
Yeah, there you go.
And my youngest brother, Isaac, he always jokes around and says, I'm 10 out of 10, man. Nobody can beat me. But anyway, so whenever they moved to California, my dad was an indoor wireman, electrician. He worked for the union there. And then in 2003, we came out here to visit my aunt here in Springfield, Missouri. And back in California, all the smogs and the fires and whatnot going out there, there's a bunch of problems with the environment and whatnot. And, we used to live in Southern California, and off the mountains and stuff, all that smog would come over. And my mom was it was just a rough time. I mean, rough area to live in. So then we came out here, and of course, Southwest Missouri is so beautiful. So we pull in, and it was right after a small shower in the morning. It just rained, and you know how it is, just beautiful, crisp, clean air. My mom tells my dad, you know what, you're going to California by yourself. I'm staying here in Missouri. So then a few months later, we moved our whole entire family out here. And since my dad was an indoor wireman, in Springfield, there wasn't that many good paying jobs like there was in California. So my dad was like, man, I got to still provide for my family. So what am I supposed to do? Let's jump into the farming industry.
Yeah.
So they bought an old turkey farm. And then we raised turkeys for Cargill and Willowbrooks for 11 years. So I grew up since I was 7 years old until I was a sophomore in high school. We used to raise commercial turkeys for Cargill, and I mean, it was just a nice experience. Growing up as a kid, we weren't scared of work because, I mean, it's all hard work there. You're carrying absolutely. 45, 50-pound birds around, and it's just, you just learn the definition of hard work there. And then how we got in the orchard industry. So the orchard originally was Plaster's Orchard. So it's been there since 1981. So Cliff and Sue Plaster established the orchard back in 81.
Yes.
So then in 2013, my older brother, Victor, him and his wife went out to the orchard to buy, they went out there to pick apples and to buy some fruit. And then Cliff was like, hey, you look like someone that likes to work hard and understand the meaning of hard work. Don't you want to buy this from me? And my brother, Victor, he had a nice stable job, good paying job. He's like, no, I don't, but let me talk to my parents. And my parents come from Romania. They weren't scared of taking any risk. I mean, yes. they ran from Romania with all their lives. I mean, they put their lives on the line to escape the problems that were over there. So they weren't scared to take those risks and throw everything into one business or anything like that. So in 2013, after my brother went out there to with his wife to the orchard, the next Sunday we had lunch together, and my brother tells my dad about the orchards. Like, hey, there's a nice orchard up there. And I remember whenever we first moved to Missouri, we went out to the orchard to pick apples from the orchard. Yeah. And then in 2013, after talking to them, my dad was like, oh, why not? Let's go check it out. At the time, we had 2 turkey farms. So we had one in Miller and one down in Neosho. So we were busy enough, and everything was working out pretty good. So whenever my parents went to go see the farm, the orchard, and my mom was like more inclined to it. She's like, this is nice. I mean, turkey farming is smelly. It's a stinky industry. And my mom was like, this is nice. I mean, your money grows on trees, literally. Yeah, that's it. Your money grows on trees. So after thinking about it and like a good business decision, it was made on the spot, That's it. And a month later, 30 days later, it was ours. So everything worked out, and the Lord provided that way. So we sold one turkey farm in 2013. And in 2015, we completely got out of the turkey farm industry, and then we put our farm, all of our focus on the orchard. And it was originally just 20 acres of apples and a few peaches, and we've been diversifying and trying to have, our goal now is to have fresh, you pick fruit May through October. And then we're trying to create that nice, beautiful experience for the families and the kids. Because, I mean, nowadays, there's a big disconnect between agriculture and the consumer. So with other methods of trying to become more of an agritourism and have like a petting zoo and whatnot, trying to create that even balance between, and kids understanding, where the food comes from and how the food is grown. That's great. So that's kind of a summary of how we got into the farming industry.
Well, folks, you're just tuning in. This is Farmer Drei, as he's known. Andre is your name? Yep. And it's Gardner's Orchard and Bakery. So if you like good, fresh fruit, you got baked goods.
Yeah. So currently we're growing strawberries in the spring. We have blueberries and blackberries. We have quite a bit of peach trees and then apple trees as well. So we have about 15 acres of apple trees, and that was the base of the orchard when we purchased it. And like I said, our goal now is to have fresh fruit May through October. So how the bakery came around, so my sister graduated with her culinary degree in 2016. And talking to my dad and whatnot, I was like, man, what does this orchard need? And I just sitting and talking, and like, this orchard needs a bakery. Because if you look at any other orchard and successful agritourism places, they all have a bakery. And we're like,
your orchard needs a bakery, and I need a 10-second break right after this. We'll be right here.
People that have mental illness are not weak. They're the strongest people I know because we've had to endure so much.
I knew we'd fight. And we are back. Today we are talking to Farmer Drei. What a name. It's a cool name. Andre became Farmer Drei. Kind of a nice sound to it. You kind of got well known now.
Yeah, so due to social media and YouTube and Facebook, it's been working out pretty good. So there's a story behind how that name came upon. So
you can tell us about how you got the bakery, and then go ahead and tell how you got your name.
So like I was mentioning, my sister got a culinary degree, and my dad was like, you know what, this orchard needs a bakery. So working things out in 2016 when my sister graduated, we're like, you know what? Let's just put all the time and energy into building this. Like I said earlier, my parents weren't scared to take the risk. I mean, they're just jump into it 100% not even, just doing it. And we put it in, and it was a big hit for us. So if you guys don't know, the fruit industry, you're only harvesting fruit May through October, and then the rest of the year you have nothing to sell. So for us to make a full-time living on the farm, year-round, we needed something during the winter months, just kind of pay the bills and keep stuff going. So that's where some of the idea came behind the bakery. So my sister Aurora, she specializes in specialty pastries and bread, of course. So whenever she was at culinary school, they used to call her the bread queen. So she makes phenomenal stuff. As you can tell, I could be losing another 50 pounds or so, but I'm on a donut 15 diet now. So I try not to eat too many. But she makes awesome stuff, pastries, croissants. I mean, all kinds of good, beautiful stuff.
Is the bakery open on regular business hours?
Yeah, so the bakery is open 6 days a week, Monday through Saturday.
And then people can come in and enjoy baked goods
yes.
as well as buy
year
them?
Round, yeah.
Is there a way to serve those as well, or do you just buy them and...
So we just sell them pre-packaged there in the farm store.
All right.
Whenever we first started, we were selling them open, containers and whatnot, but just to make it easier for us and to not deal with other health department issues, just sell them pre-packaged that way. Just makes it easier for us. And now that the farm's been expanding, we've been diversifying. We're figuring out that we got to do stuff the way it makes sense in our lives.
Okay, so you guys have baked goods, but you have fruit. What kind of fruit do you grow on the property?
So we have strawberries, blueberries, blackberries, apples, and peaches, and a lot of produce and tomatoes.
Okay, a lot of good stuff. Well, people come to pick. It's a you pick farm.
Yes, so that's what we're moving towards. So whenever we first bought the orchard, Cliff and Sue, they were doing, there's kind of a small you pick. They weren't really that big in the you pick. They were picking stuff, shipping stuff to grocery stores and whatnot. And then we quickly realized that picking fruit is no fun. I mean, I enjoy growing it. I enjoy eating it, but picking it, I mean, it's like anything else. It's a back-breaking job. So like, what can we do to create that experience for the families and make our lives a little easier as a grower and to create that experience for the families. So it was just apples up until 2018. We planted a whole lot more peaches. In 2019, we planted blackberries. And then in 2019, in the fall, we planted our first crop of strawberries. So I'm new to the whole strawberry field, to the whole strawberry game. Yeah. And then I grew 10,000 strawberries there in the fall of 2019 and harvest in 2020. And then in last fall, I planted right under 3 acres of strawberries. So we were able to sell every single one. So this fall, we're moving up. We'll just keep on moving those numbers up.
Is there a lot of demand?
Yeah, so there's a huge demand for local fresh fruit.
And all your customers pretty local.
Yeah, so our Facebook, it's all based towards local consumers. But here recently with my YouTube channel, I've been having customers drive up from we had a guy from Minnesota drive down, Oklahoma, Kentucky, Tennessee, just everybody's been, coming
Why do you think there's an outside appeal when it's just a limited item? It's a limited shelf life.
Yeah.
So
that's the deal with dealing with fresh fruit. Yeah. So it's only in season. Like our strawberry season only lasts 4 to 5 weeks out of the year.
Yeah.
So if you're not getting strawberries in that time period, you're going to miss out for the rest of the year. And it's the same thing with the blackberries and the blueberries and the peaches and the apples in the fall. It's only a limited time. So if you don't get them while they're in season, you're going to miss out.
So your strawberries in May?
Yeah, so we start harvesting. Now with some newer varieties, we're trying different growing techniques. We're trying to have strawberries about the middle of April through May. So trying to expand that season 6 weeks. But, the more and more you trial stuff, the more time and energy and labor it takes.
You said the blackberries, would they be in July?
Yeah. So the blackberries, we try to plant varieties that are well-known and taste really well and flavorful and sort of easy to grow. So the blackberry varieties, we are growing. Most of them come out of the University of Arkansas. They're a thornless variety. They're big, fat, juicy, thick blackberries. Called matches, if anybody's wondering what the variety is. So on the blackberries, we planted them on a special system. It's called a rotating cross-arm trellis system. So we train them on an arm initially. In the spring, we lay them all flat towards the sun, and due to a phototropism where everything grows up towards the sun, all the blooms are facing one way. So whenever they're done blossoming, we pick them back up. You have only fruit on this side and only the leaves on this side.
Why is that?
So for since we're mainly a U pick, it makes it really easier for the families and the kids that come out to pick. The kids pick from the bottoms, the moms generally pick from the middle,
Thornless.
and then the fathers pick from up top, and it just makes it really nice and convenient. Nobody wants to shove their hand into a bush to pick anything like that. So we're just trying to create a beautiful, pleasant experience for everybody who comes out to the farm.
Well, we've got wild blackberries out on my acreage. It's neither beautiful nor pleasant, but there are good picking, but there's thorns involved in a lot of barriers. So that sounds really convenient for customers.
Oh yeah, and that's the last thing we want to do. We don't want to create an experience that a family doesn't want to come back to our farm. That's one thing we're working on is every single year we gotta add something, do something different, so that the kids are excited whenever they hear strawberries. Boom, let's go to Gardeners. And there's other operations, even like in St. Louis and other places. I got good friends all over the U.S. who do this stuff, and that's the same thing they're trying to do. Just create that beautiful, pleasant experience for everybody who comes out to the farm and supports them.
That sounds fantastic. I know that a lot of people out there looking for fresh fruit this time of year, especially, they're going to expect that. You got blueberries in season.
Yep.
You got blackberries coming on soon.
Yeah. So we started harvesting blackberries last week, just a few.
Okay.
So dealing with growing fruit here in Missouri, we deal with a lot of the weather that we can't control. We have no power.
A lot of rain lately.
A lot of rain, and unfortunately this year we lost our entire peach crop to frost. So whenever it got down to negative 14 there in February, we lost a good chunk of majority there. And then that last frost there in April, we lost quite a bit. We lost about 90% of our blackberry crop this year. So this year is one of those years where we did the best thing we could. And we tried doing everything we could as possible. But, of course, we can't control the weather. And that's the bottom line. So we'll just take it as it comes. The strawberries did really good for us this year. On the strawberries, there's different growing methods and techniques. We're able to cover them and protect them blossoms, but we still lost quite a bit there. But overall, it's going to be a decent year. As any farmer will say, there's always next year.
You work with greenhouses?
Yeah, so we have 4 different greenhouses on the farm. They're technically called high tunnels, and this is a term you probably never heard of. So a high tunnel is a greenhouse frame and structure, but you're growing everything in the soil. So all your crops are grown in the soil that's already there. So how I explain it to customers is it's like your garden, but it has a piece of plastic over it. So it protects from rain, protects from the hail, it protects it from all the other elements you cannot control in the environment. So it creates more of a pleasant growing method, and we're able to control the temperature, and how much water and moisture we feed to the plants. So if you guys follow my YouTube channel, I'm kind of like the people in the comment sections call me the Tomato King. I say that I don't know too many, but
What did the let's see, the YouTube channel, what's the name of it?
It's called Farmer Drei. So that's where the whole name came
That's
behind.
why it's good to say Farmer Drei is a channel on YouTube. Subscribe to that and follow that.
Subscribe, if you guys are interested in farming, gardening, all kinds of
My
fun
brother
stuff.
is a farmer out in Colorado, so I'm going to tell you, he is the tomato king of the High Plains. He's supplying restaurants that are in high demand. He's got some of these greenhouses, they're 150 feet long, but they had so much heat in June, as we did.
Yeah.
And he put up a sprinkler system on the top above the shade.
Yeah.
And he'd never thought of that before. He said God just gave him an idea, but it helped keep the temperature down to where it's acceptable, because anything over 90 is really rough on tomatoes. How did you guys deal with the excessive heat?
So the only thing we do is we choose varieties that do really well in hot temperatures. And then, of course, like you mentioned, we put a shade cloth on top of our tunnels to keep those temperatures cooler. So the shade cloth, helps anywhere from 10 to 15 degrees. And that 10 to 15 degrees helps out quite a bit. So we haven't had any heat issues yet. But if something like that happens,
he's out in the high plains, and it's almost like a semi-desert out there sometimes, so it's really brutal in the extremes. We have a lot of humidity, which is actually good for tomatoes.
In a way, it helps out, but you got to manage the disease and whatnot, in a better way. But yeah, it all just kind of runs in together.
Jay, if we're ready, we'll pop in that next commercial break whenever you're ready there, sir.
People that have mental illness are not weak. They're the strongest people I know, because we've had to endure so much.
Again, our sponsor is NAMI of Southwest Missouri. That's the National Alliance for Mental Illness. What they do is they are a warm group of people that just answers the line. It's not a crisis thing. It's just if you're facing mental anguish anxiety, depression, suicidal thoughts, anything that might trigger you, or you have a phobia. It's not a clinical group. It's not a medical side. It is a peer-based side. That's what NAMI is, and they are the sponsor this week. In fact, Farmer Drei, we have given away $100 a week from a different sponsor every week, and that sponsor is featured on our advertising all week long. You're more than welcome to be part of that if you'd like, but Gardener's Orchard and Bakery is always welcome to be on our team. We're doing that for one of our fortunate listeners that takes time to watch our programs, to like us, to follow us. Those faithful listeners get rewarded. They're in a drawing for $100 every week, a new winner. Priscilla Kemp, congratulations, you're this week's winner. Next week, we'll have a new winner announced from this current week. We have a sponsor lineup for next week. If you'd like to jump on there, we're just happy to have anybody just give $100 to one of our listeners through the Acts Media Group. It's a ministry. It's a tax deduction. It's a lot of fun. We're loving this. I'm learning a lot. Farmer Drei, you got a cool name. How did you get the name?
So it kind of goes back. So whenever I was in high school, everybody used to joke around and say, "Oh, it's Dr. Drei, Yes. You know." And I was like, whatever. What am I supposed to do with that? And once I graduated high school, I started going to college. And I'm gonna kind of tell the story how I got into how this became one of my biggest passions. So I started going to college here at OTC here locally just to see, well, hey, what am I supposed to do with my life? You know, I'm a young kid. You know, in my honest opinion, whenever we first bought the orchard, you know, I really didn't enjoy it that much because growing up on a turkey farm, I was like, man, growing up, I don't think I'm gonna have anything to do with agriculture. Yeah. It's just kind of one of those deals. And I started taking a bunch of classes and whatnot, and I started to realize that accounting isn't my thing. I mean, that was a class that really put it behind me. And, I better do something that doesn't require much math. You know, in high school and stuff, I was pretty decent at math. You know, I was, took college algebra and stuff in high school. But whenever it came to all those other stuff, complicated numbers, I was like, nah, forget it. So I was like, man, what am I supposed to do in an industry that doesn't require much math, but I also enjoy doing? So then at that time period, we actually got our first high tunnel up. So my dad put me in charge of that one. I was like, this can't be too bad. Let me go ahead and study horticulture. So whenever I started studying horticulture, I was like, man, I want to start on social media doing something, just whatever. I first started my Instagram page. So I don't want people to just know me as Andre. That's kind of, it's cool, but it's not enough. So now I was sitting there and I was
Johnny Rooster. You got to have a name.
That's right. And I was like, well, everybody called me Drei before, kind of joking around. I was like, what's wrong with Farmer Drei? So I looked it up and it was open, surprisingly. And that's how it all started. So I started off, on Instagram with a small, just friends and family kind of deal. And then in early 2019, and then I started my YouTube channel. Like, you know what? On all the platforms, social media platforms, I'm Farmer Drei. I mean, if you, even on TikTok, look me up, Farmer Drei. Farmer Drei's everywhere. So it's surprisingly, it wasn't taken. I mean, it wasn't claimed for. So that worked out pretty good because, you come up with a fancy name and whatnot, and someone already has it.
That's it.
And Farmer Drei is unique, and people, remember it, and it just it's simple, simple, easy to remember, and it's fun.
Well, there's a story in the Bible that tells about the first man, Adam.
Yeah.
And he definitely had to name the animals. What a job. Yeah. Nobody around to name the animals. Who's going to do it?
That's right.
I guess I will.
Yeah.
He's not, there's nobody else to do it.
Yeah.
But he's naming the animals because God likes to name things.
Oh, yeah.
He doesn't want a bunch of nameless creation.
That's right.
So I think that's cool that he actually got to name that. I'm curious about the plant naming because it only specifies he's naming the animals.
Yeah.
Now, who names these plants? Or we're not leaving it up to scientists back then.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Adam named everything.
Oh, yeah. I believe so. Yeah. I mean,
whatever
God gave him the wisdom to do it, and he did it. So.
But it is quite a unique thing.
Oh, yeah.
To get your name. There's a guy here, Matt. He popped in here in and out, and he likes to name things.
Okay.
And my name is John Cockcroft, and he goes, Cock is a rooster, and we'll call you Rooster Roft. And then he goes, no, how about Johnny Rooster? And
there you go.
It's there, and it's right there. And I've had this other name so long that it didn't work so well for remembering.
Yeah.
And now it's like a new window's opened up for conversation. Hi, I'm Johnny Rooster, and they're like, hey, and they don't forget me.
That's right.
And it's Farmer Drei.
See, whenever you call me, and you said Johnny, I even told my siblings, when was it? I was talking to them, like, yeah, I'm going to be on an interview. He's like, what's the guy's name? I was like, Johnny Rooster. I mean, it came up to my mind like that.
You don't forget.
And, I usually remember stuff until I forget, But that's one of those things I didn't forget. And I'm usually not.
There's a reason for these kind of uniquenesses.
That's right. And everything in life has a reason. So, unfortunately here a couple months ago, our father passed away from pancreatic cancer.
Oh, man.
And he battled that for a year. So the good Lord worked everything out. All the siblings in our family kind of stepped in, 3 or 4 years ago and covered up, that the little good Lord knew he was going to take him home. And, that's where, being faithful to God and having a relationship with Jesus Christ, you being led by the Holy Spirit to do certain things in your life.
Yes.
That, in the moment, you don't really realize it. But then, 5-10 years down the road, it's like, wow, God's working miracles, even in my life. A lot of times, us younger kids, I'm only 23 years old. I was like, man.
Only 23, you're as young as my son.
I want to see the miracles of God, back like in the Old Testament and how God worked with all the people in there. And even when Jesus' will was on earth, I'm like, you know what? How is my relationship with Jesus Christ, showing to other people, and how am I living with God? And, a lot of times we're like, you know what? Yeah, let me just live my life. And we do certain things and, 5 years down the road, we realize like, wow, this was meant to be from God to begin with. So that's how everything worked out with our whole farm. And now our goal is just continue moving on the farm and like I said, just showing everybody how God has blessed us, and we're able to bless other people as well.
That is wonderful. I know that as a ministry here, we like to reach out to people. One of our faithful listeners, Larry, wanted to let you know he has 9 rows, 70 feet long, with red beans up to about 6 inches now.
Well, there you go.
Beans. Wow.
Yeah.
Red beans.
There are, I think, the red beans, like pinto beans, or sort of, I think.
And then he's got 4 pear trees doing very well until it froze them off. I get it.
Yeah.
This year was terrible for the frost.
Yeah.
I mean, it came over in April as well.
Yeah, April 21st.
We
got down to negative 23.
I mean, a hard frost.
23 below zero. I mean, just 23 degrees. It kind of nicks everything off. So every single, I talk about farming because that's my passion. That's what I enjoy doing.
Some people really jump in on that. Other people, I can't fathom it, but I'm like, I saw a load of watermelons donated, and I go, these are probably from Texas this time of year. And he goes, no, I think they came from Walmart, said the kid unloading them. I'm like, this is a guy your age.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to make fun of people, but I'm going to realize there's a part of our culture that does not understand agriculture at all.
Yeah.
A society is missing that. A lot of people your age and younger are really missing out.
Yeah.
What are some advantages to understanding growing?
So it's just some of the advantages. I know where my food comes from, and whenever this whole COVID thing hit, people are freaking out. Oh, where my next meal going to come from? All of a sudden, I could just grow my own food. I'm not too worried about it. And everybody is spending so much time on their phones nowadays. What's the average person spend? 5 to 6 hours, on their cell phones? And I'm like, why aren't they, getting out in the dirt and having fun like back in the old days? So, that's where my YouTube channel comes in handy because, people are going to spend their time on their phone regardless. So
you're reaching out to those people.
Yeah. So it's not one of those deals where you can't stop them. What are you going to take your phone away? They're going to.
Is your goal to entertain and educate?
Yeah. And, that's my goal is they're going to consume someone's content regardless. Why not be yours? And that's what I tell other farmers. That's what I tell other people in the agriculture industry is why not we step in and, and educate them and, create, break that disconnect. And, a lot of times, older farmers are going to blame the media. Because this and that and GMOs and whatnot. And, and a lot of times farmers hate controversy and they're not willing to step up. Even I'm like this sometimes. If someone doesn't, want to think like me, I just, forget them. I'm just going to make my life happy and forget about it. But that's what happened for so long that the media took over and the farmers were too scared to say, hey, no, this is how we're doing things. And there's reasons why we're doing certain things. But then, they're kind of pushovers, the old farmers were, and let the media just kind of step all over them. And that's where agriculture kind of gets a bad name on a commercial scale because, it's like, all these factory farms, but 95% of all the farms out there are family farms.
Well, speaking of a commercial scale, we got one more. Right after this, we'll be back.
All right.
right, this is Morning Mouth. It's Johnny Rooster. I'm your host, and we have Farmer Drei. So talking about fun names, fun things. Gardener's Orchard is just up the road in Brighton, Missouri, just kind of on the Polk Greene County line. Probably right before you get to Brighton, actually, right?
Yeah, it's right. It's 2 miles out of Brighton.
And you're talking about how you're reaching people on a YouTube channel called Farmer Drei.
Yes.
You're 23.
Yeah.
You've got siblings, lots of them.
Yeah.
What,
8. There's 10 of us. There's 10 of us. I'm number 8.
How many of you are involved in the orchard?
So in the farm currently, there's 6 of us. Pretty much full time.
You all have different roles. Like I'm the apple guy, and I'm the
So I'm kind of in charge of everything. I always joke around and say everything that dies, but I'm in charge of the growing side of things.
What do the rest of them do if you're in charge of that?
My younger brother. So I have a brother that's a sophomore in high school. He's my right hand man.
Okay.
And my younger brother,
so you have to do what you say then.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. And then us 3. So me, Adrian, and Isaac. We do all the farmers markets because we do 6 different farmers markets in the local area Tuesday through Saturday. So we're always busy selling at farmers market.
You're doing farmers markets Tuesday through Saturday.
Yeah, every single day.
How come I'm only seeing a farmers market at this place once a week? You're saying there's farmers markets going on every day.
Every single day of the week.
Just depends on where you're going.
So in all different small towns. So we go to Bolivar on Tuesdays. Wednesday we're at Fairgrove. Thursday we're at Ozark. Friday we're here in Willard. And then Saturday we go to Bolivar and Springfield. At the farmers markets there.
Are you doubling up?
So we split up. I go to Bolivar.
Good thing you got more than a couple of siblings.
That's right. And we just split up, and we do the U-Pick on the farm as well, and then we do the farmers market. So
my brother mentioned him. He's been a farmer for 8 years, 9 years now, and full time. It's been hard. He's got 7 kids, but as they take their roles, the markets started to die out with COVID. That really hit them hard out there in Colorado. There's a lot of restrictions on those markets. What are you doing with COVID? How did you survive that? Did you have to do anything different?
So, here, since we're kind of a smaller scale operation and we're catering directly to the customer, and we do very minimal wholesale. And, in a way, COVID, affected a lot of things, but it actually kind of helped us out because, like I said, the scarcity and the people not knowing where the next meal is coming from, they got on their phones and where's my local farmer? Where's my local farmer at? Who can I support to have that security of where my next meal is coming from? So, we actually got a lot of new customers that would never have supported their local farmer if it wasn't for COVID. And, us as farmers, we try to grow the best quality and best tasting product ever. So, they tasted our tomatoes once, they tasted our strawberries once, and they love it. And now, they're just coming in and like, man, I can't believe I was so blinded before and didn't know you guys have all this beautiful stuff. And then, they grab a tomato at farmer's market from you, and then next year they want to buy a tomatoes and strawberry. Tomato and there's many farms in the area that do that, and the produce that the local farmers grow is just phenomenal. Yeah, it's the freshest, the crispest as can be, and the stuff you're buying in the grocery store. On average, it travels 3,000 miles before it ever even gets to the consumer's hand.
Oh, my gosh.
So, strawberries coming out of California, Mexico, lettuce, just all kinds of stuff. And the consumers got so used to going to the grocery store. Yeah. And then whenever COVID hit and there was nothing in the grocery stores, like, my goodness, what am I supposed to do?
Now they're finding you.
In 2020, we sold out of a lot of stuff really fast.
Okay.
So now we're trying to grow the farm and expanding so we could be able to feed everybody.
You got new customers.
Yes.
Now, how many customers would you say you have?
It's hard to tell. Right now on our Facebook page, we're sitting around 6,000 or 7,000 followers. Mm-hmm. But the majority of them, they come out to the farm. You get a bunch, customers who, they follow from a different state or whatnot. But, we do have a lot of older people that come out to the farm as well, elders that come out to the farm. So it's hard to say. I have no idea what.
So people are finding you, Farmer Drei on YouTube. What's on Facebook?
So Facebook is the Gardener's Orchard and Bakery, our farm.
Orchard and Bakery. Yes. That's the name of the Facebook page.
Yes. So that we just cater to the local customers there and to the local people, because there's no point of trying to start a YouTube channel with the farm if people from California and New York are watching. So that's where I jumped onto the educational side and the entertainment on the YouTube and to educate consumers, but the local customers mainly are coming from our Facebook page. I was surprised to see that there's a lot of local people here in Springfield that do watch my content. That come out to the farm for U-Picks and I watch it on YouTube, Yes. So there's quite a bit of that, but the Facebook page, the Gardener's Orchard and Bakery Facebook page is catered to the local consumers. And we do weekly videos and updates and whatnot. We try to educate as much as we can.
Are you part of the media part of it? Is that
Yeah,
what you do?
they pushed me into it, you know.
And you've got the personality, the voice for the
Yeah.
operation. You said you had other siblings doing other things. Briefly describe what they're doing.
So
You got a couple younger brothers.
yeah. My younger brothers are helping me out with farmers
Yeah.
market on the farm. My three sisters, they actually help out in the bakery.
Yes.
So like I said, my sister
Is that a
Aurora,
full-time
she's the
thing for them?
yeah. She is the baker, the head baker. Then I got my older sister Anna. She's the accountant of the family. So she took whenever our father passed away, she took all the finances over and everything like that as well. So she pitches in the bakery and does all the paperwork and all the business stuff. And then I got a sister Nellie. She's on the farm full time, but she's a dietitian. So she's just in, waiting and seeing, because we need the help on the farm, but then she wants to do her own thing. So it's kind of a back and forth kind of deal. But, we'll take the help.
So you have a lot of sustainable income in your family right there.
Yeah. So we're trying to, sustain everybody. And,
and through the winter, the bakery is enough.
Yeah.
So you have enough to pay those bills all
winter long. Yeah, that's our goal.
You guys are doing okay.
Yeah, we're surviving.
Rich?
I would try not to, but
are you getting more money? Are you getting better and better at this?
Yeah. So as the year, it's like anything else in life.
It's not a starving farmer.
No, for us,
This guy.
yeah. So the more and more you do things, the better you get at it, and you figure out what's your minimum and whatnot, and just trying to whenever it comes to the business side of things, we're not going to grow anything we're going to lose money on. So we're focusing on crops that it's just going to make us.
You're going for
surviving.
What's really going.
The cash crops there. So I mean, it's like anything else in farming. Like whenever we got the April 21st freeze, we lost $100,000 in produce, out in the field. So it's just a battle back and forth. It's just part of farming. And the biggest thing, you could talk about money in any industry, but if you don't really enjoy it, there's no point in doing it.
True.
So in construction, there's a lot of money in construction. There's a lot of money here and there, but if you don't really enjoy and don't have really passion for it, then it becomes a job. It becomes a job. And then nobody wants to have a job anymore. So,
what do you think the next 5 years look like for you guys?
So for us, like I said, we're trying to expand the farm more and more and to have enough produce for all of our customers that come out to the farm. So expand the strawberry patch. I mean, just the whole farm in general. And, we're moving more towards the agro-tourism, have a petting zoo, create more of the playground and stuff for the kids. And, like I said, there's not many places in Springfield where a family can go for many hours and just hang out with their families and their friends. There's a zoo and whatnot, and a few parks. But we want the families to come out to the farm and spend 3, 4, 5 hours.
You're about a half hour from Springfield or so?
Oh, we're 10 minutes. 12.
You're real close to Springfield.
Yeah, we're 10 miles north of I-44 on 13.
Oh, so you're not far.
So
people
it's
get out there and see this. You have people to come in and help you pick. Show you what to do.
We have a lot of part-time help. Come out and help us out.
If they're coming out, they're usually just coming out to buy an item, right?
Yeah, buy
not
or
necessarily to pick.
It just depends on the season. Like right now with our blackberries and the blueberries not having such a heavy crop, we're not open for you pick just because we don't have a big quantity of it.
Yes.
And we're picking everything
right now
ourselves.
You're just coming up to buy
stuff.
The items.
And then at the farmers markets, we have the majority of everything we have in the farm store.
Okay, so you can be seen again as we're wrapping up. We are out of here at 9:40. That's one more minute. So name the farmers markets. Kind of go slow.
So it's Bolivar, Fairgrove, Ozark, Willard, and on Saturdays we do Springfield and Bolivar.
Yes.
And in Springfield we go to the one on the south side at Farmers Park. So make sure to check us out there. You'll see my two uglier brothers over there.
So anything else you'd like to mention before we call it?
I will, if you guys come out and to the farm and support us, we want to appreciate it. Because without our customers, we wouldn't have a business. We wouldn't have a farm. So we appreciate everybody, all our customers who come out to support us.
And remember, it's Farmer Drei on YouTube. Follow that. He's a lot of fun. There's a lot of energy here.
Yeah.
And there's also the Facebook page, of course, which would be the Gardener's Orchard and Bakery.
Yes.
So we're glad to have another wonderful session with another entrepreneur. We appreciate what you're doing.
I appreciate
and all you do. Here at Axe Media Group, AMG, we have a wonderful event coming up called Axe Fest. It's going to be here mid-July, the 15th through the 18th. So stay tuned for more details on that. Until then, have a wonderful Independence Day weekend. Yeah. This is going to be a big holiday weekend. So stay safe and don't forget your fresh food.
Yes.
All right. Take care.